So normally when we think about platforms, we think about communication, we think about platforms enabling communication. But of course, we also need to think about platforms as societal infrastructures, meaning platforms that are also not just enabling people to distribute their ideologies, but are ideological in themselves. I think a great and very obvious example is, of course, LinkedIn. LinkedIn, to most of us, is that a bit boring app that we use as a kind of online resume. But of course, if you look at that platform through the eyes of ideology, we of course see that LinkedIn is a deeply neoliberal platform. We do not celebrate birthdays on LinkedIn. No, we celebrate work anniversaries. We can only present ourselves through our work. And if you scroll through the newsfeed of LinkedIn, what you see is all people that are very happy, very proud, very excited about their job and their accomplishment. We see that this is a very obvious example, of course. Ideology is embedded in it, and you see it in the discourse, but also in the interfaces, in the affordances of that platform. But of course, the same is true of social media like Facebook or in Instagram, and so on. Maybe less obvious, because in first instance, we see Instagram and we see an enormous diversity of ideologies being represented by people. Let us say from Zoran Mamdani and AOC to the golden one and far-right influences and in everything in between. At the same time, if we look at the historical changes in those platforms, think about 2016, Donald Trump gets elected, we get the Cambridge Analytica narrative, we get the focus on hate speech, on fake news and so on, and that pressure amounts to digital platforms increasing moderation. And so the whole trust and safety industry booms at that moment, but it also means that the ideological bandwidth narrows. A lot of far-right influences are deplatformed up until 2020, when even Donald Trump, a former president, is not able to be integrated in those platforms. So it's on that level that you see platforms functioning as ideological platforms.